everybody, Ren Carothers with Matt Carothers. I know I needed a little help today because we're going to go over a lot of material. Why? Because we are inching ever closer to Breeders' Cup Future Stars Friday, November 3rd at Santa Anita. And we have had a lot of winning you're in action, but then we've also had a lot of 2-year-olds that we should be watching anyway who haven't been in official win and you're in races. And I thought I'm bringing the pedigree info, but we've got Mr. Analysis here because he can be more cynical than me. I'm Miss Sentimental.
I'm here to learn from you. This is like a tutorial for me. So this is your ammo. This is your bread and butter. This is kind of early prep work for me for the Breeders' Cup, November 3rd, 4th at Santa Anita. So Breeders' Cup Future Stars Friday, 7 weeks from Friday. We're not that far away. And the thing about the 2-year-olds that is frustrating, but I love at the same time, is the fact that a lot of the other divisions we have opinions about already because we know these horses. They've raced a certain amount of times, whereas the 2-year-olds.
I'm listening. I'm retweeting us.
No, it's okay. I already did that. It's very difficult. Even again, 51 days, whatever it is. It's not that long from now. But in terms of a 2-year-old and what they're going to be between now and then,
they can change so much.
It's night and day. So you're going to have. So it's really important to pay attention to all the divisions. But I think these divisions are the ones you really want to look at, and these are the ones you really have to look into the crystal ball and try to predict who's going to be ready, who's going to be peaking, who's rounding into form when it matters most. The other divisions, you do it to a certain extent, but not nearly as much.
No, and you'll also have horses who have won winning or in races who don't end up actually punching that ticket at the gate, so to speak. For example, we'll talk about the first horse. And I mean, it was a stellar performance. I'm still going to show it because maybe we'll see some of the horses who happen to be in that race as well come over. But it looks like the winner of the Montclair Stud Stakes, which was Fallen Angel. This race was run on September 10th, a winning you're in for the $1 million 1 mile Juvenile Fillies Turf. She, again, won the Montclair. This is at the Curragh, a filly now 3 for 4 in her career. But it does look like she is going to be pointed toward the Fillies Mile at Newmarket or shelved for next year's campaign. Still, let's go ahead and watch the race because you just don't know. Maybe there's going to be a horse from this event to make the trip over. So let's go ahead. I have so many replays pulled up, don't I?
Yeah, we had a lot. This is a lot of racing.
It's a lot of racing.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. We'll share the screen. Do you want to hear the audio on this, Matt, or no? You want the call? You want the race call? A little bit, a little under?
I don't care.
How about just
it's your show. It's your show.
We'll do this.
Yeah. So I think Fallen Angel is the gray.
Yes.
Here, and she basically sits second. I think she's the gray, and the jockey has the gray silks as well, right?
Yes, right.
Moving right up.
I was about to point at the screen like you guys could see too. I was pointing.
Moving in a second at this point. The one thing, just as people at home can judge for themselves whether they like the way this filly wins this race or not. Obviously who's the rider here? Who's aboard?
You've got. Oh my gosh!
It's okay. Sorry. So it hasn't even moved his hands at this point. So I thought this was a very professional win, as you'll see the manner in which.
It was Andrea Tenny.
Oh yeah, okay, good call, good catch.
Sorry, Andrea.
And this is a straightaway, right? So that's one thing to look at. And the other thing, just a general deal in terms of, as much as I love the Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita, the only minor drawback is a lot of times the Europeans don't make the trip as much as they do. It's a good hike, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. I will say, you heard Yelling in there.
Mm-hmm.
She was previously undefeated, AOB training. This is a filly. Who knows? Maybe they'll give her another chance. She was highly regarded. She was the post-time favorite here.
Although she finishes the winner here.
The winner, yes, absolutely. But Yelling was a horse that was going into that race with a lot of attention. So I'm wondering if she might be one we'll see come out and maybe can redeem herself going forward. And let's see here. We can close that. We have some comments, Matt.
Oh, wow, already.
Frankie Wagner is saying, Matt, rumor has it Ren is a better handicapper. I did not pay him anything to post that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
I mean, we both have our strengths. We both have our strengths.
No, I don't even think it's a rumor anymore. It's pretty much fact.
No,
I think. I think at this point.
No.
So I don't think it's a rumor
No,
anymore.
Even if I weren't married to you, and even if I didn't like you, I would still have to admit you are like one of the best handicappers. Yes, absolutely. He sleuths out things you don't normally think about, which is another reason why I like bringing him on shows like this, where we're actually going over and recapping and whatnot, because there's different nuances. You love the chart work. Obviously, it's hard to do a ton of it when you're dealing with 2-year-olds. And like you said before, a 2-year-old can change leaps and bounds between now.
That's why sometimes when we're handicapping on a daily basis and we look for those horses that are obviously, they look very professional. I'm not saying you're not looking for that here, but you might actually look for the horse that runs great, but is kind of green and non-professional, gambling that they will grow up mentally. And if they grow up mentally, they could be dynamite. Whereas the horse that's already real professional and looks like an older horse, their ceiling might not be as high. And not that they can't win a race like the Juvenile Turf either, but you might look for those horses that look like they have more upside because they're a little behind it mentally at this stage. And they're running out of time to catch up, but there's still time.
Tom is saying, LOL, FYI, your horseshoes need to be upright on your wall. Luck falls into a horseshoe when its opening is at the top. Good luck. Tom, yes. So there's debates about whether or not horseshoes should be up, should be down. You're definitely probably in the majority. But see, here's the thing. I'm not superstitious, and I just think they look cooler like that.
You've addressed this before.
Yes, I have many times. I figure there's 2 of them, so if it is bad luck, that it cancels these. It cancels.
Yeah, she's not changing Tom.
No.
She's been brought. This has been brought to her attention.
Fun fact, though. But doesn't it look like, climbing up the wall instead of going down the wall? I mean, and then the other thing I will say is just fun fact. Those shoes are dialed ins. Shoes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. My friend Tracy, who passed away a couple of years ago. She worked at Darby Dan Farm, and so that's why I have those.
The last thing I'll say about Fallen Angels,
yes.
I like the fact that the top 2 were way in front of the rest of the field, and that it looked like that she was going to get blown by. Yeah. And the way she dug in, it's like she really liked the competition. I thought at the end of the race.
I know. I wish she was coming over. Maybe they'll change their mind. Let's hope that happens to be the case. Now, Richard is great. He tunes in every week. Hey, good afternoon. The famous couple Carothers. I've never had the pleasure to meet Matt yet. I'm Richard. Say hello to Richard, Matt.
Hi, Richard. Nice to, I've seen the name before.
Yes.
Comment on
Matt tunes in all the time too. He's a fan.
Absolutely. Whenever I can. I don't always have the opportunity to. Sometimes I'm on the air down the hall here, but when I can, I do.
Oh, and everybody, if you guys have questions or comments, feel free to join in. This is a conversation. We do a live show for a reason with these episodes. Peachy, Patty Joe, I love this couple. It's like y'all are a stand-up duo sometimes. Thank you. We try. You know who's really funny though? Like amazing. Sandy Holly and his wife Koru. They're amazing.
You've told me that.
They're so great. I have had the honor of hosting them. Basically conducting a Q&A session with them at Derby time in front of a live audience, and they always
they have that rapport.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. Patty also goes on to say, I'm a huge lover of genetics and researching bloodlines. Ren is my spirit animal. Oh, thank you, Peachy Patty Joe. Much love to you. Richard back again with another comment. Tamara was ultra impressive in the debutante. Any thoughts on Breeders' Cup? Thank you. Pleasure's mine. We will get to her, so hang tight. Coming up, we're going to go still sticking on the turf right here and still talking about horses we could possibly...
That'd be bad if we did the show, didn't mention her.
Oh, no, she believe me.
Tamara. Oh, we forgot Tamara. Oh, that 91 buyer. Beholder. Yeah.
Mike Smith. The most winningest jockey in Breeders' Cup history. Yeah. So let's go ahead still. We're talking about potential horses we could see.
Is it 27 wins for him?
I believe so.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's something crazy like that. So as far as Future Stars Friday goes and the Juvenile Fillies Turf,
right?
Let's talk about a horse. This is not a win and you're in race, but it's a filly that you may want to jot down and keep your eye on. Her name is Austere. She just won the Juvenile Fillies Stakes at Kentucky Downs, and you were just at Kentucky Downs.
So are you?
Well, I was, but you were actually there publicly handicapping. What are your thoughts on this track? Let's watch this.
And they're all in line.
Put the two together. Larry Colmus on the mic.
They're off in the Global Tote Juvenile Fillies. Kinane started well, so too Bella Hayes on the outside.
You're gonna watch
Austere
this race.
came out running in third. Then
This
Sea
filly,
Dancer and Latte Lizzie,
Austere,
Kodiak Winter Green on their outside.
to win. She won her debut at Ellis Park. She made a big.
She's the sixth. She's in third right now,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yes.
So she gets a great trip. But I will say, I really like this win because Kentucky Downs with I think they might have had they finally got a little bit of rain, but the most part, zero rain, very dry, very speed favorite.
Yes.
And that played through. I know there's one more day of racing at Kentucky Downs, but it's been a very speed favoring turf course. And so does she get a good trip? Yes. Is she forwardly placed? Yes. She's tucked in down on the inside. This is this is Gaffleone, who's just great.
Gaffleone, say it right. Gaffleone.
I just can't. I said, I can't. I'm old. I can't change my ways. It's Gaffleone. So anyway, perfect trip. But you do pass a couple of runners in here that have some talent. I think the horse in the lead was a 6-1 shot in this race. So these weren't like crazy long shots. And the manner in which she does it here to pull away and win by 3, and the final time 35-2. And again, this is a million different angles and shots here at Kentucky Downs. You'd think it's over for a second, and then they're just beginning in the stretch. And
look at her go though.
This is. I think this is a really.
She's on the wrong lead here. She had been on the correct one, I think, but it's an undulating turf course, so
it is. It's undulating. This is a good win.
Yes.
This is she only had one start going into this race. Obviously, this is a stamina type course.
Oh, because you're going downhill, you're going uphill. This filly,
I like that win.
No, I do too. And she made a significant figure jump. She went from a 49 buyer in debut.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody has their own figures that they're like, I'm old school with the buyers. And she went up to a 78 with this, which might not like knock your socks off. But again, considering everything, including the track configuration, I thought that was really impressive. She won officially by 3 lengths there. Brendan Walsh is your trainer. She's owned by Bradley Thoroughbreds and Gary Finder, and she was bred by Jane Lyons Summer Wind Farm.
Yeah, I mean, in the 2-year-old fillies juvenile turf division over the years, basically it's been Europeans or Chad Brown. But I think Chad, who's been unbelievable, I don't know, off the top of my head, I didn't do that research. I think he's won like 6, 5. He's won a lot.
Shug had that real nice filly last year.
Right. I don't think Chad did as well last year at the Breeders' Cup. Maybe the last couple of years have been a little chilly.
Remember when he went at like 5-1 with Structor?
For him? Yeah, I do recall that. So, but I like what I saw. I like I know she was, the problem with being on her left lead a little too long, but she might have been a little tired.
She has switched off and on. Now she's the pedigree is great too. I mean, she's by Mendelssohn, and we all know what Mendelssohn accomplished both on turf, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf
at Del Mar.
Yes, and then
2017.
Yes, but he was also handy on dirt, and don't forget a half brother to Into Mischief, a half brother to Beholder, and obviously she's going to come back up in the conversation later.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one.
This filly is out of Argumentative. I like that name.
And
I like that name a lot, Argumentative. And Argumentative herself was multiple stakes placed. And the filly, Austere, she herself is a half-sister to Group 1 winner Epicurus, whose wins include the Criterium Decent Cloud. So she has got pedigree, this filly.
And more on the time, but we're going to compare, I think, because there were a couple of races back-to-back, fillies and boys. And this time compares very well.
Yes.
To the race that we'll be talking about in a little bit.
Yes. So now let's talk about the Prevagen Juvenile Turf horses we may see run in it. That will be a $1 million event, 1 mile distance, just like the Juvenile Fillies Turf. And we have had a win and you're in for this race. And it was just run on September 9th. It was the KPMG Champions Juvenile Stakes, won by Diego Velasquez. They just love naming the horses there, the Coolmore team, about famous artists.
Why wouldn't they?
I mean, right? Stick with the theme. You've had a lot of good horses going in that vein, right? Now this was again a win and you're in for the Juvenile Turf. It was run at Leopardstown. Let's go ahead and you want to talk about a horse who's green. Watch this race, and he still wins. So let's go ahead and find it here. The KPMG Champions Juvenile. And let's go ahead and give you a little bit of volume, and we're going to hit play.
And we know that Aidan O'Brien, with the horse is physically right and he likes, he's going to come to the Breeders' Cup.
I mean, look how this horse is so, just from a horse girl perspective, if I may.
He's on the lead, right?
No,
he's no, there is.
He's
second.
that flashy thing.
Yeah, no, there, obviously. I know this.
4 white socks. Look
there
at
is.
The big white blaze. This horse is a stunner, and if you want to love him beyond just the looks, love him for the pedigree too, because he's by Frankel.
Yep.
Frankel is son of Galileo, so this is going to make Diego Velazquez a 3/4 brother to a Group 1 winner named Broom, who's a multi-millionaire, because Broom, not by Frankel, but again, he's a 3/4 brother because Broom is by Australia, and Australia, like Frankel, is by Galileo. So you have 3 of the 4 grandparents matching.
Broom's been, kind of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
For Broom, that's how recently he's been doing this thing.
Now, did you understand that? Did I give you that pedigree?
No, yeah.
3/4, again, just to make sure everybody understood it. This boy, Diego Velazquez, is a 3/4 brother to Broom. This one is by Frankel. Broom is by Australia. Both Frankel and Broom were by Galileo. So again, you have 3 of 4 of the grandparents matching 3/4 siblings.
The rider's going to town.
Look at him go here. Oh, it's Ryan Moore.
Here. This is Ryan. Yeah, obviously it's for these connections. And horse responds nicely.
Yeah.
There's another 2-horse race here. The rest are, they are far back. We had to work, but that was a nice win by about a 1/4 of a length, probably the margin of victory. It pretty much with these connections. And I love hearing the pedigree, but do you ever see like Smith, Magner, Tabor, Westerberg, Brandt, and look up and go, oh, that pedigree is not very good. Ooh,
No,
wow.
No. And this horse sold for like a ton of money. I don't even know. So I'm not even going to try to convert it.
It's kind of a given.
And I'm not going to try to convert it. But yeah, so he's now 2 for 2. And I have a quote here. This was from the Racing Post, as reported by Justin O'Hanlon. I love to give, credit where it's due. This is the quote from AOB. He says, Ryan said he only realized he was racing with 50 or 100 yards to go.
He's a little clueless at this stage.
We felt we could run him anywhere, but looking at that, I would probably like to give him another run before going into a big one. He was just half speeding at home, and then we come here today, and he hardly took hold of the bridle.
That's what I was talking about earlier, though. This is the kind of horse he still wins despite the fact that he had no idea really what he was doing against really good company and still was able to prevail. These are the types of horses maybe you look at in terms of being able to make those not just incremental jumps, but like giant leaps forward.
No, absolutely. Now, again, we have some races that have been run that are not official win and your ins, but still races that we should watch because these are horses we may see running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And so one of those horses is Gallant, who is now 2 for 2. This is a horse trained by Bill.
You can never learn enough, right? You can never know enough.
Exactly. This horse is trained by Bill Mott, and she beating the boys in the With Anticipation. So she's a daughter of Violence, and then she's out of Orlorda, who's a German bred. She had some success, and this is actually, she broke her maiden at Saratoga going 5.5 against restricted fillies, and then goes into the With Anticipation, which was officially run on turf listed as good, going the mile and a 16th. So let's go ahead and watch Gallant beating the boys. And one of the horses she beat, a really nice one in Carson's Run, who won his debut. So definitely, like she deserves some respect here. So let's go ahead. We'll present.
Well, even her, her debut, you go 5.5 furlongs, field of 10. You break from the rail where she is again here in the With Anticipation. You don't see too many first-time starters 5.5 turf break from the rail or 12 back early win by 2 1/4. And that's what she did in the debut. Mm-hmm. And this is her second start. And on the stretch out, she's able to be closer, not close, but she almost lost contact with the field in that 5.5 furlong sprint. She's still last early on, basically tied for last down on the inside early on in this race. Tough to make, the fractions. Again, I have to go back and look at the day. Because they had so much rain at Saratoga. Yeah. They had so much. And look at going in the first turn. Kind of steadied off heels. My
gosh.
Steadied off heels pretty dramatically.
Yeah, I know. 25 for the opening quarter.
You still know what to make of it, though.
I know. 51 and 61 100ths for the half.
Yeah, I mean, it's slow, but again,
Right.
2-year-old filly is going a mile 16.
Well, filly. These are.
Oh yeah, right. I
These-
filly against the boys in the with anticipation, but because of the condition of the turf course,
Right.
you have to go back. You have to go
right.
back and compare that day, and it's also tough to compare because there's probably not another 2-year-old. They might have taken the other races off the turf this day and just run the stakes. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head.
And I mean, from a figure standpoint, matching her figure 71 that she got on debut.
But it's still, I mean, I'd be curious about the chart in front of me to know if the other horses were at the back of the pack where they finished, the 3 and the 8. So did she pass? We'll kind of learn here together.
We're about to find out,
Yeah, so Jose knows he's got a ton of horse right now. So
a ton of horse.
Let's just stay outside. Yeah, I like when riders do this. Don't get cute and
oh my gosh, and we're going so wide around here. Taking some abuse with each other. Oh, she and Carson are coming down together.
So so the 8 is the runner
Carson's run,
right? Okay, so they were kind of in tandem.
Oh my gosh, look at him trying to gut it out here. Oh, okay.
You mentioned 30,000 is all she went for. That's
crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and keep your eye on Carson's run as well. I mean, that horse, great story behind him. If you watch the episode with Terry Finley, he is named for a young boy named Carson. Well, how old he is now, he's not, officially a boy anymore, but it's still a really one of those stories that grabs at your heart, and very much like Cody's Wish and Cody Dorman. So named for the son of a friend of Terry's who has the same syndrome as Cody's Wish. And Carson's run when he won on debut, it was so exciting to see that happen. But that was still a valiant performance there, even running second.
Absolutely.
So definitely one to continue to watch. We're going to go ahead and watch another horse who we could potentially see in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and that is Aspenite. This horse won the Juvenile at Kentucky Downs, went basically from the gate and never looked back, scored by 3 1/4 lengths. This was his actually his maiden win, because he had run on August 31st. And he had actually finished second, being a half length after having gotten the lead in a restricted allowance there, going 6.5 furlongs. So let's go ahead, take a look at Aspenite. Trained by Steve Asmussen.
This race was a half hour before we had Austere win the Juvenile Fillies.
Yes.
And, this is not the fastest race in the world.
Rolling line.
Ooh, I have a very loud. We love Larry Colmus, but there we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, not the fastest race in the world, but the horse breaks right on top. And there he is. He's down on he's the 2. Yeah, takes the lead right now. The pace is fairly honest early on. So he sets, I mean, the fractions are 22-1, 44-4. You go back and compare that to Austere's race, faster, 22-2, 45-4. That's the good news.
Okay.
For this performance.
What's the bad?
The bad news is they crawl home in this race.
But a lot of that could also, there's these dips.
And
then having to.
Yeah, I mean, part of it had to do with 44-4 half mile.
Yes.
But I'm a little surprised. The thing I'm surprised about this race is because they're going so fast up front, you can see how strung out they are.
Yeah.
You watch some of these races from Europe, and they're all within about 8 feet of each other, it feels like. And so you can see how strung out they are. It's funny. There's 45-1 was the half.
Huh.
Oh, you're one of those people that so this is
the chart says, yeah, they must have.
Okay.
The horse in front.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. So yeah, this says 44-4. I'm looking at here. So I'm surprised none of the closers did anything at the end of this race, considering how fast it went front. Remember, I also mentioned, if you're just tuning in and you didn't follow Kentucky Downs, it was all about speed.
Yeah, he won't change his lead here. He is.
The final time's 37-4.
Well, whose clock is the chart is going to be what's right. The chart is what's correct, because this horse had the lead the whole time, and the chart is saying 40. The chart has.
Yes, I said 44-4.
Yeah, so the clock here must have been.
Oh, so that time's even slower. 138 as opposed to 37-4. Either way, it's not fast. And if this time is correct, Austere, I think, went 35-2. We're talking at least 12 length difference, and the races were the same distance, same course, 30 minutes apart.
Okay.
That's you can't sugarcoat that.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm just with the discrepancy between the chart and what we're seeing on the chart and what we're seeing
But
on
both
the
are
replay.
slow.
No. I understand that. You would go with the chart, everybody, over what you're seeing popped up on the times on the replay.
Yeah, I would go with what I saw too in the past performance lines
Okay.
over what I'd see on the.
By the way, the PPs are out for the Iroquois and the Pocahontas.
Oh.
We didn't get a chance to look at them earlier, but I'm kind of like looking at it a little bit right now out of the corner of my eye.
Well, I know Risket's going to be favored, I think.
Well, let's go ahead and we're going to now talk about another horse who we could see in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and his name is Depiction. And Depiction is trained by Cherie DeVoe. I had Cherie on the show not too long after this win. And
can you describe Depiction?
I could describe Depiction. I love this horse. I think this horse has he put up like one of these figures out where you're like, oh my gosh, no, but he's won easily. And how do you not love this? He is by More Than Ready. More Than Ready is tied for a while, he was the top. His progenies had amassed the most Breeders' Cup wins at 7. And for a long time, it was
usually
just him.
In these races.
Right. And for a long time, it was just him. But then recently we have seen Into Mischief and Tappet join him. Okay. So, but before it was just More Than Ready, most progeny wins. But again, now he's tied at 7 with Tappet and Into Mischief. And Depiction, son of More Than Ready. And then he's out of the Curlin mare, Transita. And guess who she is a half sister to?
No idea.
Multiple Group 1 winner and multi-millionaire. I don't want to undersell it. Hawk Bill. His wins include the Coral Eclipse. He won the Dubai Shima Classic. This is pedigree. And somehow, some way, they were able to pick him up at Keeneland September last year for only $80,000. Unbelievable, right? So let's go ahead and watch the replay of Depiction.
I think Cherie, she's sitting on a Breeders' Cup win.
Oh yeah,
right. She's been close.
She's got some
before,
very
and
nice
this year
horses.
she's kind of gone next level. It's been pretty amazing, her ascension, considering she's only been out on her own training for what, 3-4 years, something like that. I mean, not very long.
No.
Not very long.
Sent the chestnut to the outside.
We're gonna have to take the volume down. I'm sorry. I always feel like bad, like
Jimmy Mack.
You know,
Jimmy Mack on the
down,
mic.
yeah, taking down the volume. It still might be too loud. You have to give your analysis.
Okay, so he's mid pack, purple cap, right?
No,
right?
Not purple cap. He is the 7. He is the 8 to 5 7 here. Oh, I can't point. Oh no, he's right here in the middle. There, in the top flight in the middle.
Okay, right there he is. I'll just look at the graphic.
Oops, I didn't mean to do
That's all
that.
I had to
Sorry.
do.
I know. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I keep pointing at the screen, like you can see. Oh, and I just paused it. Sorry. This is weird because he's sitting where I usually. Well, I have to sit over a little bit, and so.
And really smart move by
There we go.
Christian Torres, for kind of backing off between runners and backing off and getting in kind of a nice rhythm in third. I thought in this race, but you do have a horse who's your second choice, who's kind of loping along on the lead. So Christian Torres doesn't want that horse to get away. So now you start to ask a little bit. And
I should say, on debut, this horse had so many traffic issues, and he still ran well to get ultimately beaten only.
That's why he's favored in this race off of that troubled trip.
Yes.
So right, this is what we're talking about. I mean, I think most of the audience probably is aware that you look at the figure and then you watch the race and then you kind of determine, because sometimes the figure could be a lot higher if they tried a little bit more. And so you'll see. Let's watch how this horse finishes here. Still a learning process. So Torres wants to shake up. I like the stride here, huh?
Oh, Matt! Like once he gets like clear run, he's like, "Bye, see you." I love him.
Yeah, and you don't see margins of victory like that too often, especially in
Look
maiden
at him
races
still going here.
on
He's
turf.
like, yeah, I did it.
Play it loud, 137-3.
I love it. So
Gallop out, tremendous.
she had such a big weekend. We're going to talk about another horse who won the very next race after in just a little bit. But I told her when I had her on the show, I said, they need to get you at least a coffee mug that says DeVoe with the flow.
I like that.
Get it?
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. I love coffee too. And I like mugs.
Oh, I love it. Peach,
I would drink out of that mug.
Peachy Patty Joe's coming. She's like, oh, wait. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. But Keelan Muscle's got Risket's going to be real tough in the Iroquois. I also like Edified.
That's the other
that's the other. You almost had me
Asmussen.
in the Pocahontas. Nice. See, Patty was saying, Ren, if you're trying to point, your cursor is showing up on the screen. Good point about that. You're right. I could have done that for sure. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Silly.
Yes. And so, yeah. Oh, yes. Cherie worked with Lady Eli for sure. She helped get her through the whole laminitis issue. And how amazing for her to come back after laminitis and still put in some stellar performances.
She was great after that.
Yeah.
Not just stellar. I mean, she was great after a situation where you get laminitis, and we know what laminitis can do. It takes a lot of lives.
Richard says, Hookham, if he comes to the Breeders' Cup, has a lot of Breeders' Cup winners in this pedigree. In the Wing, Singspiel, Razi, and Miesk. I'm into pedigrees also. I call that BC Ped Cred. You know?
That is pretty impressive pedigree.
Pedigree credentials. BC Ped Cred. Hookham, I love that because it almost sounds like my maiden name, Hakeem.
Hookham?
Hookham.
Hookham Horns.
Hookham Horns.
Texas Longhorns.
So, yeah. So anyway, again, tremendous pedigree. I already told you about the dam being a half sister to Hawk Bill. She's also a half to Free Drop Billy. And the family further includes Cozine, who won the 1985 Breeders' Cup Mile. So that's pretty fitting, right? If you want to talk about BC Ped Cred, you got it right there with Depiction. Now, let's talk about the Juvenile Turf Sprint. That's a $1 million race also. 5 furlongs. We have had a win, and you're in for it. Van Dijk won the Somme Prix on August 20th. This was at Deauville. This horse is undefeated, 3 for 3. And let's go ahead. He had previously won the Group 2 Markle Richmond Stakes. And we'll go ahead and watch the replay of Van Dijk. And also, this is, again, an official win in your end.
So I did hear this the other day that Santa Anita, which I'm kind of mixed on this decision. I understand it. But anyway, here, let's find out where the horse is here for running in this race. And this is the race in which our big prep work we did for this. You were telling me this was a big kind of key race. And I think Ramatouille.
Yes.
Ramatouille. Is that how you said?
Yes.
Ratatouille.
No.
It would be Ramatouille.
No. She had won the Group 3 Prix du Bois and the Group 2.
She's in front here, I think.
Prix Robert Papin.
Because she's fast. And Van Dijk will kind of wear her down.
He's back here with the yellows and the stripes.
Okay. Somebody else in this race too, right? Came back.
Well, because you have Valiant Force in this race. He actually had previously won the Norfolk, but in addition to him, you also have River Tiber in the race. And
let's see him get by her here late.
So Ramatouille here,
wow,
the chestnut.
Yeah, he's able to just out finish her, and again, they're pretty far in front of everybody else.
Correct.
In this field, the point I was going to make is Santa Anita is known for what's one of the many things they're known for. There's 6.5.
We don't need
the 6.5 down the hill.
Right.
What's the guy doing? He had a spoon.
I don't know. I don't even know if they could see that. If you could, I'm sorry that you saw somebody with a
spoon
spoon on their neck. I don't know what that was for.
But the down the hill. And I don't think they're going to run the down the hill races for the Breeders' Cup. I think they determined that it's too much of a home court advantage for the Santa Anita runners.
You have that weird spot where the dirt comes over.
So it's going to be more traditional, I guess. They're going to do the 6 furlong turf sprints there, just to let you know.
Right, because the juvenile turf sprint's 5.
5 furlongs. Okay.
5 panels.
So I'm not sure what they'll do for the Breeders' Cup Turf. It's a different conversation. Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, I should say. But in terms of this one, it seems like, he beat some really nice horses.
Yes, he did.
In this race.
Yes. Again, we talked about Ramatouille. You also had, again, River Tiber in there. Aidan O'Brien had talked about River Tiber, had previously or earlier had some training troubles. He had a muscle pull a little over 2 weeks prior to the race, and they really liked his performance there in the end. He wasn't beaten all that many lengths, about I think it was 2 lengths there defeated. Also, going back to what I was saying, we did see that the Norfolk winner, that was Valiant Force, and that is a win in your end. And we'll watch his race. We will. He actually did finish 5th. He was beaten 9 3/4 lengths in the pre-morning here. So
it's still really a live race.
It's a live race. The one excuse you could probably give to Valiant Force for his performance there in the pre-morning, not only did you have this really tough field, okay, it was a very tough field. He was coming off a layoff from having won the Norfolk, and the ground was listed as being, oh gosh, I had it, very soft. So you're going to have firm ground almost 100%.
Yeah.
At Breeders' Cup. So let's go ahead and watch the Norfolk.
And it could be 95.
Now,
it could be 100.
FYI, it was Rossa Ryan who was aboard for the Norfolk. It was Stott who was aboard in this last race in the pre-morning. Okay. I did have Rossa Ryan on the show, actually.
He was great.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So young, and he's accomplished so much already. And so yeah, he was aboard for the Norfolk, had him on the show. If you want to go back and watch that episode, it's still something that is informative. It's not like, oh, this was weeks ago, it doesn't matter anymore, because you get to learn about Rossa. So let's go ahead though. It's because you're saying that to me. Let's go ahead.
I'm used to the lights.
Oh, the lights, the camera, the action. So here's Valiant Force. Again, he did finish 5th in the pre-morning, but here he is winning at Royal Ascot, the Norfolk Stakes. And this was an official winning union. So the tickets punch, and he says with these connections, when I had Ross on, these are the type of connections that will likely go. And you'll see the field is going to split off into 2 flanks.
Isn't the further group from us,
yes.
Right?
Yes. So just keep a lookout on him. He's
the purple behind the purple.
Correct. The purple behind the purple on the left flank. There he is. You can see through the. It comes through. He's going to challenge. And then you'll see him kind of just kick on. And the official margin here is going to be a length and a quarter. But again, this is going to be a lot different here. I mean, this is 5 furlongs on good fast going. At Deauville, not only was it very soft, but that was 6 furlongs in the pre-morning.
I mean, the one thing that is a couple of reasons why the Europeans haven't liked to have traveled to San Antonio over the years. It's unbelievably far from Europe, Southern California, and the temperatures.
Right.
Again, it could be 95 in Arcadia. You know, Del Mar, it's a lot cooler, obviously, by the ocean. It's usually hot at Santa Anita, and they're not accustomed to that. I don't know what the temperature was like that day.
Yes.
It wasn't like the hottest summer on record in most of Europe. So a lot of these horses have performed in pretty aggressive heat because it was really, really hot. I think record setting in many places throughout Europe. So that's something to keep in mind.
No, for sure. And I mean, but the thing is that, yeah, you're going to basically see the horses coming over that they feel do well, getting that firm ground here in the States. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, some horses prefer it softer. Some prefer, that bit of give in the ground that you do get with softer turf. And some like to feel those feet rattle. Yeah,
it's like when you have our, buyers, people that go over there, right? They're looking for horses that are going to handle the firm turf course that they think will. And that's who they buy. That's why some of the times you see these horses come here, they don't go back.
Right.
They'll stay.
Now, I do see Dustin is, hi, Dustin. He's saying American Rascal. Now, yeah, American Rascal went over for the Norfolk. He finished 13th in that race. He's actually now, he's a son of Curlin out of Lady Aurelia, champion Lady Aurelia, dual champion Lady Aurelia, because she was champion here in the States and champion over there with Cartier.
That's right.
But he's actually now in the barn of Steve Asmussen.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, and he's entered to run at Churchill on September 15th. in an allowance optional.
He's a fast SOP.
And he's going to have Tyler Gaffalione aboard. So that's what's going on with American Rascal. Let's see here. Okay, and I'm gonna. Oh, Richard says you're funny, Matt. I live right by Sunland Park. You are funny. Did you mention Sunland Park? Because
no,
I'm listening to about.
I am funny, but I get the time of Sunland Park.
Y'all have to understand. I'm not just talking during this, but I'm also producing. I have multiple screens in front of me as I'm producing, and so I hear about 3/4 of what you say.
Yeah, that's a high.
I think that's pretty good, right? 3/4 of what you say. It's like the 3/4 siblings. It's pretty close.
It's higher than
not exact.
It's higher than a regular basis.
Okay, good. No, that's not nice.
It's funny, right? Richard?
It is funny. It is funny. So now let's talk about the Nut Jets Juvenile Fillies potential horses. It's $2 million on the line in the Net Jets Juvenile Fillies. They're going to be going a mile on the 16th on Future Stars Friday. We've not had any official win in your ins for it yet, but we have many fillies to keep our eye on. Let's start with a filly who is undefeated, 4 for 4.
And as of today, what's the date? The 12th of September. Heaviest favorite will be in this race out of both as of right now.
Yes,
as of today. As of today.
And yes. Oh, they love us. Yeah. Thank you, Peachy Patty Joe. We are pretty funny, I think. But sometimes it's unintentional and we're just getting laughed at when we were actually serious.
And sometimes it's
Tyler
dorky, but
Gaffalione. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Brightwork. She just won the Spinaway. Now, Spinaway, grade 1, not officially a win in your in, but you know what it is part of? The Dirt Dozen. That's right. You can learn more about the Dirt Dozen by visiting breederscup.com. And basically
I've seen that movie. It's so long. I have to go back.
Not the Dirty Dozen.
Oh,
the Dirt Dozen.
I said the Dirty Dozen.
Oh my gosh. So anyway,
great film.
So Brightwork, she actually, because she won, and in fact, it's a tiered situation where first, second, and third get money bonus allowance toward Breeders' Cup entry fees. So with Brightwork winning, and because this is a $2 million race that she's being pointed toward with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, she gets $30,000 bonus for the bankroll. Okay. The second place finisher Ways and Means gets $15,000, and the third place Wonder Ride $7,500. But yeah, Brightwork undefeated, daughter of Outwork, who he himself is son of Uncle Mo. Uncle Mo, as you will recall, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile back in 2010. Has just become a prolific sire and a sire of sires. He's amazing. This filly, her mom, Clarendon Fancy, full sister to the dam of Midnight Bourbon, Cocked and Loaded, and Pirate's Punch, and Gervin. Haskell winner Gervin.
Crushed Gervin and Haskell here.
I know.
Joe
I know
Sharp.
you did.
Joe
That was
Sharp.
nice. That was fun to celebrate after. But yes, this filly, she's just been doing everything, as they like to say, everything right. Debuted at 4.5 furlongs.
That much, but still.
Debuted at 4.5 furlongs back at the spring meet at Keeneland. She won by 3 lengths. Then she was off, comes back July 2nd, wins the Debutante Stakes at Ellis Park by a 1/2 length. Then they go 6.5 in the grade 3 Adirondack. She scores that by 5. And now the Spinaway, 7 furlongs, and she wins that by a 1/2 length. And she's done it in different ways. She's won on straight on the lead as she did in the Debutante. She's been willing to sit a little bit like she did here in the Spinaway. So let's go ahead and take a look at Brightwork getting that grade 1 win. At Saratoga. Let's see if I've got I've got to figure out which one it is because I have so many replays pulled up.
Yeah, you do.
It's pretty amazing. Here it is, Spinaway. Brightwork in the Spinaway. Okay, and then this is gonna be Frank Miramati on the mic. We'll talk about Miramati more.
He did a good job at Saratoga.
Yes, he did.
The horse in front, very rank.
Yeah, very hot.
Here she comes. She's the 9, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's her. So she's laying in 4th. The thing about her also that obviously she's never been at Santa Anita, but she's already won Keeneland, Ellis, and Saratoga. So she's already taken her races to 3. She, 4 for 4. 3 different race
She
tracks.
takes it to the track. She doesn't have.
She's not been favored in any of her races. How about that? 4 for 4, never been favored. I mean, not that she's been giant prize, but
Well,
4 to 1, 2
guessing
to 1, 5 to 1, 3 to 1.
Is part of it just, by virtue of the fact that, when you're against stakes competition, you're going to have really big barns in there, and she's trained by John Ortiz.
Yeah, that is, but you do have a rad riding, but still.
Well, you do, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe
he was 1 to 2 favored here.
He's obviously a tremendously capable trainer. I mean, my gosh, he knows what he's doing. Look at his percentages, right?
Each weighs and means. That's an entire committee.
And I'm like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, I think sometimes people gravitate toward playing the names that they see routinely. Whether it's Fletcher or
right.
Cox or
especially
Brown,
in big races.
In big races. Yeah. But I mean, John is a great trainer, and this is a filly that he actually has posted some really.
He's a great dresser too.
Yes.
John Ortiz.
Oh yes.
Great suits.
I mean, he's up there with Ray Handel.
Yeah.
Although, can I just say, I might offend some people here. I'm sorry. Because I have some friends, colleagues who are like going with this, this wardrobe flow. Guys, I can't, unless you're Ray Handel, because Ray Handel just takes it to the extreme with the chain and everything. Like the t-shirt with the blazer, the Miami Vicing it.
Kind of Chuck Woolery 2 and 2 kind of thing.
I don't know that I can, you know what? Never mind. Just if you like it, you do what you want.
To each his own.
To each, yes. Yeah. But like, I don't know. It makes me think of like Miami Vice. Automatically, because
dating games.
Well, then also though Miami Vice, they were wearing the shoes without the socks, and then I think about the humidity and what that might produce. And anyway, joking. So that was a great performance. There's such a sweet photo. I wish I had pulled it up before we did the show of John with the filly, and she's got one of the flowers from the blanket in her by her forelock or right there at the beginning of her mane. I can't remember exactly where, but it's just totally adorable.
Well, I mean, so far in this division, we're going to get to the horse that's like towers above everybody. And then you have a bunch of different horses that are whatever that second tier is. And she's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's now talk about, and again, that was a race that was a dirt dozen qualifier. So she's got, that bonus bankroll of $30,000 for the win there. Now let's talk about Dreamfire. Dreamfire 2 for 2. She actually won her debut at Pleasanton.
Yeah. And she's really fast.
Yes. Against boys.
Really fast. She hasn't trailed in 2 races.
And then she won the Grade 3 Sorrento by 3.5 lengths. She was going to be the second choice on the morning line, 4 to 1 for the breeder or for the Del Mar debutante, rather. But she was scratched the morning of because she did not finish her feed.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Abundance of caution there. So let's go ahead though. We still will watch Dreamfire winning the Sorrento. See here, make sure everything is good to go.
Yeah, with Hector Barrios, who's
we're gonna have Trevor Denby
had an incredible meeting. And Hector Barrios, he's getting a little bit. Everyone loves Hector Barrios now; they should, but he's getting a little stereotyped as a grass guy. He is a grass guy. He's a smart rider. He's good on grass, but he can also, if he has a filly that's fast like this, he can also get him out of the gate, get him on the lead, and bye. And this race is over. Right now, it's over right now. Yeah. Not only because look at the hands on Barrios, and look everyone else going, I got to keep up, and they're already shaking and scrubbing and fairly motionless as Barrios. That's what you call getting the lead effortlessly. Yeah. I mean, without trying at all. You're just that much naturally quicker and faster than your competition. You have that type of alacrity.
All right, breaking out the alacrity
out of the gate.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, she's a first crop representative of Flame Away. Flame Away we were there when he won the Dixiana Bourbon. Remember that?
You were?
Yeah, we were. Yeah. You don't remember that? I went to the barn. I was hanging out with David Carroll. He gave me a hat. He gave me the Dixiana Bourbon hat.
Right. Okay. We've been to a lot of races,
We have been to a lot of races. No, you're right. You're right.
We should do something else.
We have vacation time. What do we do?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get into some other stuff too, to be honest with you.
No, I love it.
Let's go to this track.
So that was Dreamfire. And the other thing that's I just kind of love, we're talking about Flame Away, is the fact that sire line is so potent because, Scat Daddy, grade 1 winner at 2. Johannesburg was, champion, Eclipse champion 2-year-old because he won our Breeders' Cup juvenile and in 2001. And he was also the Cartier 2-year-old champ. Hennessy is a grade 1 winner at 2.
I love Hennessy.
I mean, it's just one of those like really precocious but classy
There's a lot
sire
of
lines. Right.
There's grass all around that pedigree,
And but again, it was
Hennessy,
Johannesburg,
I think,
but Johannesburg won on our dirt. So that was
but
really
I think
cool.
Hennessy Turf as a sire. Sky Mesa, I think grass.
Hennessy, some Stormcat.
Even though these horses themselves, for the most part, were dirt horses. It seems
right, because Hennessy won the Hopeful.
Yeah, but he's better grass influence.
But the dam here, appreciating, she actually got the Shoto and the Nutella Stakes. The Nutella, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, which is this weekend, actually. We'll talk about that in a minute. Dreamfire herself, half-sister to Nasruddin, who was 3rd in the grade 1 Starlet. The family also includes grade 1 millionaire Celestine, whose wins include the Just a Game. And, somebody here, let's see here, who just asked, I saw a question. Oh, Richard, again, in case you didn't hear, why did they scratch from the debutante? So that morning, the horses get their breakfast. She didn't finish her breakfast.
Yeah.
And so they didn't like that because horses going to eat.
Maybe
And if they don't eat,
a little sick, maybe.
If they don't eat, there's something wrong because, I mean, horses don't generally ever leave.
I haven't heard anything
food.
since, so
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything since either. Now, we're going to talk about the filly you all want to talk about, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah, and this is like, we've seen some really good performances, and then you show this, and it's just different.
And, I will
it's just
say
different.
this.
I mean, you can bring somebody in to watch these races with us
Right.
that have seen 5 races in their life, and they've been to the track once, and you could tell that this was different.
Correct.
This win, that she did it differently. She ran differently.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, 1,000%.
It's that obvious.
Yeah. And I also would like to mention, I should have pulled this up as well because there was another filly that debuted over the weekend that was really stylish as well from the barn. I think her name's Meridia. I don't have that replay up, but still one you want to watch. But Tamara. Okay, so this filly, we were all excited about her anyway because she is the 4th foal out of Hall of Famer Beholder. And Beholder, I mean, just the fact, the longevity of her career and being top tier the entire time. I mean, she won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and then she won 2 editions.
Garrett Gomez.
She won 2 editions of the distaff. I mean, that race between her and Songbird, where Beholder, it was going to be her final race of her career. It came down to the wire for her to nail Songbird right there, and
Songbird's only loss.
Yeah, and it was one of.
Oh, she lost her.
No, I think it was Songbbird's only loss.
Was it her only loss?
I think it was. I'll have to double check now because I was almost sure that was her only loss. But Beholder, going back to that.
She lost the Dallas Stewart filly.
Did she?
At Saratoga.
Now you're going to make me look.
Did she run in the Ensign?
You're going to make me look now.
The horse that I always loved. What was it?
Okay, well,
that I crushed in the Del Mar.
Oh no, you're going to make me look it up, aren't you?
No, I can look it up.
Okay, so. All right, let's just take it back because Juvenile Fillies for Beholder in 2012.
Yeah.
And then the distaff in 2013 and again in 2016. She was Eclipse champion, 2-year-old filly in 2012, a champion 3-year-old filly in 2013, champion older mare in 2015 and 2016. So of course she was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
She's one of the best of all time. And her win in the Pacific Classic is one of the best performances I've ever seen.
If you've not watched that, everybody,
yeah,
you have to watch that race.
It's probably... It could be a top 5 type performance.
You're right.
For me,
Songbbird's 13 for 15.
Yeah, she lost to she lost to the Dallas Stewart filly.
She lost. Yeah, it was
the
her final
race
in the personal Ensign.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah,
you're right.
What was her name?
Her name is bringing it up.
I should know.
Right now.
She may be
Forever Unbridled.
Yeah, I bet her in the distaff the year she was 3rd.
Okay.
To Boulder and Songbird. And then I loved her at Del Mar.
Yes. I guess I just wanted to erase Songbird's other loss from my mind
because
the loss to Beholder wasn't bad.
Right? You either get killed or you do really well. That was a really good because there was good magic, Mendelssohn. That was a good.
But I'm thinking I erased that loss from my mind because it's one thing that when she lost to Beholder, it's right there in the wire. It was as close as you could get to a dead heat without it being a dead heat. So yeah, but I had Mike Smith on my show. couple, like after the debut win of Tamara. So if you want to go back and watch that, you should, because he's got a lot of great insight, not just about this filly, but about racing as a whole. But the fact that, and I don't have her debut queued up, but one of the things that was really striking about that, if you do go and watch it again, she stumbles significantly out of the gate. And,
terribly.
And he even said, because she's on the inside.
From the rail.
And Mike even said that he almost like rolled right off the back of her. And it only took her a few beats to get her feet back under her. And if he had wanted to, he told me, he could have gone to the lead at that point and taken it.
Yeah. But I can't remember who he was talking to before the race. Maybe it was Weaver on FanDuel. And I think he just said he verbally talked to him, so it wasn't even an interview. And Mike said how much better she was going into the debutante than she was in her debut. It had only been 3 weeks. Yeah. He'd been on her in those works in the morning since, and that she's even better.
Yeah. I mean, she just, I don't know.
Your guy, Alex Evers, the photographer.
Oh, his pictures are so great. Yes.
Well, he did a split between
her and Beholder,
because they look so much. They run the same. They look the same.
And Tamara, daughter, built Doro, and he was very precocious. Won his debut, won the Del Mar Futurity, and then he won the front runner, which is now the American Pharoah Stakes. So and he stands there at Spendthrift, where she was born and raised. So let's go ahead and we'll watch Tamara here winning the Grade 1 Del Mar debutante. And it's not a 1 year in. It's not part of the dozen, but you have to believe this is likely going to be, at this point, the horse we're all looking at in terms of who would be favored today in the Juvenile Fillies.
Yeah, it's not close. It's not close based on her pedigree and her the ability to, you think, go 2 turns. I mean, she's like Beholder. She's better at 2 turns.
That's what Mike said. She can go further.
Yeah, and the ability to, she's just so professional as well. She's fast, she's professional, and even someone like me who's not like you when it comes to watching these, she's right there sitting in second. No, she was. I mean, not that 65 is a great price. I'm surprised she wasn't odds on in this race once Dreamfire scratched. But just her action, you can really see it turning from home.
Yeah, that's what Mike said. She's effortless.
Yeah, the way she hits the ground, all that kind of stuff, and the way she can pull away with her stride without expending any sort of energy at all. And it's the term, push button. It's a cliche also, but look at, I mean, this is push button. This is, I don't even know if he's pushed a button though. I mean, it's
just he's basically just giving her the green light.
And it's just it's over at this point. This is where it gets really like, wow, this could be a superstar. We already knew it beforehand with the pedigree and the connections and between the debut, but this was just next level type of.
She's so professional. We've seen a lot of the horses having difficulty with this. She just everything.
I mean, that's a workout in the Grade 1. That's what that is.
That
22-2 could have gone sub 22 for sure.
I mean, look at her
gallop. 21-3.
I'm not a gallop out person, everybody. I'm really not. But like when they look this happy after they've crossed the wire, for me, it's not about, it's just how are they looking? Do they look like they basically wore themselves out into a tizzy just to get to the wire?
I love it too, because she'll never let Laurent get by her either. I like that too.
Happy.
But she's still competitive. She's like, no, you're still not. I know the race it's over now. This doesn't count, but you're not getting in front of me.
Galloping along.
Yeah.
Happy horse.
No, it's
Richard. Oh, this is a big question. Do you think she can be better than her mama? That's a tough one. I don't want to put the pressure. I feel they're already putting so much pressure on this filly, right? I don't know that I can.
I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. It's fun to hope, right? It's fun to hope. I mean, I'm
already thinking. I mean, she's obviously. I mean, she's better than any boy out there right now. I mean, she's the best 2-year-old dirt horse we have.
Yeah,
she's the best 2-year-old dirt horse.
I mean, she just did it with such ease. That's the thing. That's the thing, and that's
the selfish part of me starts thinking, Derby next year. But that we're so far from that it's.
Are you serious? Matt Carothers, you're usually.
No, I don't think it'll probably happen.
No, but I'm surprised you even thought that you would think that.
It's a fantasy. Yeah.
I love that, because usually you're pretty, keep the girls with the girls, and with the Derby, with other stuff you're not. You're like, run him, aren't you? No,
I don't. I mean, run where you belong, or take a shot. I mean,
But here's a fun thing. I mean, if we're thinking about mares passing on their ability and to get to the Breeders' Cup, at the very least, let's just start with that, right? Personal Ensign won the distaff. Then you had My Flag win the Juvenile Fillies, and then Storm Flag Flying won the Juvenile Fillies, her daughter.
Right.
So that's 3 generations of Breeders' Cup winners right there. It's pretty awesome.
And they're all tiny in terms of odds too. Yeah.
Personal Ensign's my favorite distaffer. I know, like in the
Storm
world
Flag
of,
Flying
I
will
love obviously I love Zenyatta. I love Beholder. I love all these different, but I was growing up. I mean, I was a youngster during Personal Ensign. So for me, that's
Me too.
That's the one that really just captured my heart at the time. And with her and Winning Colors and the distaff and
But right now she's odds on.
Okay.
But
Tamara.
Right now she is.
And I love that it's just strong one word name. Tamara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. So name for Mr. Hughes' daughter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that.
So I think that's so special also. Right?
For
So
sure.
yeah. And like I said, it's just one, her by one name.
Yeah, considering he
Like
just,
Zenyatta.
he just passed away recently, I think so.
Yeah. Like Beholder.
Yeah.
Like a songbird. It's nice. So now we're going to talk about horses we may see, because we haven't had any win in your ins yet for the FanDuel juvenile. Okay. But we have had horses to watch. The juvenile itself going to be $2 million purse there, mile of 16th. Now, again, not a win in your in, but another race that was a dirt dozen race where, again, it's tiered. So the top 3 finishers get money toward a bankroll for Breeders' Cup entry. So Prince of Monaco was your winner. So we got $30,000 toward that. Mir Hamadi.
Oh, Del Mar Futurity.
Del Mar Futurity. I'm sorry.
Right. Closing day at Del Mar.
Thank you. Yes. Del Mar Futurity. Thank you. This is why I'm happy you're sitting right next to me today. I did not get enough sleep. Okay. 15,000 to Mir Hamadi. And then next level got 7,500 for the 3rd place finish. So again, Prince of Monaco won the Del Mar Futurity there on September 10th. We're going to go ahead and watch, and he's beating his stablemate, Mir Hamadi. And let's go ahead.
But Mir Hamadi, who'd been very disappointing thus far, ran a tremendous race.
I should say it's the Run Happy Del Mar Futurity.
On Sunday. Run Happy Del Mar Futurity. Sorry, Mac.
We just recently saw Run Happy there at Claiborne.
That's right.
In the stall.
So he's won the 9, and he figured he was going to be won the 9. And there was a negative show quote because everyone, it was a ridiculous amount of money. It was all bet to show on Prince of Monaco. But it's Mir Hamadi going to the lead, which was surprising on the turn back in distance. There's Mir Hamadi, the 3, being the lead. It was neat to see, and we're both very good friends with Frank, who the horse is named after.
Yeah.
And I know, and Frank was there, him and Jennifer.
Yeah.
And I know he was ecstatic, and I know he's been a little disappointed with the performances thus far. So this was sort of vindicating type of effort in defeat at 6, at a big price.
He only gets 3/4 of a length in the end.
Right. No, he's super game here. And Prince of Monaco has won the 9 because in the best pal, he went 109 flat and a 103 buyer. Beating a Baffert stablemate who actually favored in that race. Muth, I believe, is the horse. That's a good magic horse that I think he got the OBS for.
And he put in that stellar debut performance. Muth did.
Right. So Muth was favored. This was not favored in the best pal, but he beats Muth by 4 1/4 lengths. And look how game Mir Hamadi is on the inside. So, I mean, visually, this isn't. It looks like he's won by 4 right here, doesn't it? Or 3. Mir Hamadi fights back down on the inside. It looks like he was put away, and he is, in terms of the win, he's put away. But in terms of the margin of victory, he holds his own. Yeah, 3 parts of a length. Flavian Pratt up for Baffert, who runs 1-2, and it was going to be a joke, but you can't even make up a number with Baffert now.
How many he's won?
It's like his 17th. Del Mar Futurity 16th. It's like it's, and I'm guessing I don't know. This is just he's 1-2 here. Probably let's just say it's 16. I don't know. 9 of them he was 1-2, and probably. I mean, it's just the dominance is crazy. So he's able to win. It was a good win.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the end it will be a nice win to have because your first 2 wins are just just daylight better and you just win by a mile and put these big figures. So you had to kind of gut it out a little bit. And there's a good chance, you know, if you're going to win races moving forward, like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, you're not going to win by 4.25 lengths under a hammer lock from your rider at the end of that race. You're going to have to show some of this at some point in the race. And I think he did do that to a certain extent. But, I mean, he did look better at 6 furlongs than at 7.
Put a 103 buyer in the Best Pal, 87 in the Del Mar Futurity.
But it's a visual thing
Yes,
too. I mean, he went
absolutely.
22-3.
Yes.
And Tamara went 22-2. So it's pretty close. But Tamara, though, visually the way she did it, we used to watch the same races, right? We all did that. Versus that, it's not close. Who looked better doing it?
Right.
And Prince of Monaco needed to go 22-4 to win, where Tamara could have gone 121-3 and won if she needed to.
I hear you.
But still, to compare to Tamara, it's tough for anybody. If they say he's still a really good racehorse and he still might be the division leader.
Did we even mention that Tamara's got her same trainer, Richard Mandela, as Beholder had? I mean, I don't know if we even mentioned that. That's that's another reason why the story's so good.
I guess we thought it was a given.
No, right. We expect you all to know and come equipped.
I think most of the audience doesn't.
I will say from the pedigree standpoint, by Spicetown won the 2004 Breeders' Cup Sprint, was Eclipse champion sprinter. The mom here, Rainier, by Medaglia d'Oro. He was one of those horses. He was so close. He was second in 2 editions of the Breeders' Cup Classic in 2002, 2003.
Won the Travers though.
Yes, he did.
Bobby Frankel.
Yes, he's still siring. I love Medaglia d'Oro. He's still siring.
That's amazing to me.
Horses. Sire of Songbird. Sire of
that's right.
Your Rachel Alexandra, who's I think still your favorite female horse, I think.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
His favorite horse is this one, John Henry. And that actual picture, you can't really make out with this. John Henry was being paraded in front of the grandstand during, I forget what year, but at the Breeders' Cup, they were parading him.
Might have been his last year was, he ran in 84. He was horse of the year at 9.
Yeah, I think it might have been the inaugural Breeders' Cup because he didn't contend. Yeah.
Maybe that was at Hollywood Park.
I think it was.
It must have been.
That was a gift from Matt's parents.
Yeah, it must have been because I don't think they brought him out to Aqueduct for the second year.
No. So
I was at Aqueduct that year. It was freezing.
Well, by the way, I will also say that Prince of Monaco, his family includes Necker Island, and for Zet winner, Adieu. Miramati, by the way, into Mischief Son, mom grade 2 winner, grade 1 place more chocolate.
I bet Frank hammered that exacted too.
He probably did.
I bet he hammered that exact. I gotta ask him.
Okay, speaking of chocolate flavored things, let's talk.
I paid $5.
Again, that was the Run Happy Del Mar Futurity. Let's talk about Run Happy because Run Happy's son, Nutella Fella, won the grade 1 hopeful. Again, this is not a winning you're in race, but it's a grade 1 2-year-old event. He was actually making a first start for Contessa. He had previously won his debut at Delaware Park, won 5.5 furlongs. So then they just love that enough. They're like, hey, let's take a chance here at Saratoga in a grade 1, and it paid off. The horse went off at 54-1 odds.
If you're a guest on this program, good things happen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes, because I had Contessa on when It's
like Jim Rome when guests go in the jungle. It's like good things happen. It's good karma.
Yes.
It's good karma.
He won the Schuylerville.
Rackham,
so I had him come on.
Yes. Rackham.
So you all, if you're watching and you're a trainer, you're an owner, you're a breeder.
You have your own clones.
You can text at me if you got a good 2-year-old. We'll bring you on the show and then we'll come back after your horse has won. Yeah. So actually, no, I can't. Well, no, I can take credit. I was going to say, well, I had him on after.
We've had some good takes.
We have
so far.
So let's go ahead. We're going to check out Nutella Fella here, winning the grade 1.
Do you have a video? Do you have any of Mattress Mac eating the Nutella?
I don't, but that was a great video. Now, this is the reason I brought up Mattress Mac.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
No, I already did say it. It's his son. He's a son of Run Happy. I did say, and he's out of the Candy Ride Mare, Chrissy's Candy. And when I'm talking about the pedigree, I'll just go with the rest of it as well. The great grandmother of Nutella Fella is a full sister to champion Housebuster. I loved that horse. Housebuster was awesome. He was fast.
He was lightning.
Oh, he was awesome. And this horse actually has a half brother who is by War of Will, who's going through the Keeneland ring at the September yearling sale as hip number 2588.
Wow.
So that's quite the update for that colt.
No kidding.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and watch Nutella Fella, son of Run Happy, winning the Grade 1 hopeful.
Okay. This is a race where I think the pace was pretty hot up front and it kind of collapsed. I believe. Remember didn't break well?
Yes.
He's dead last. And I always hate when people say, well, he's a closer. It doesn't matter if he broke poorly. I understand that it's not as big a deal as if you're a front runner. It's never when you spot horses, the horses lengths and give them an advantage. It's not good even if your style is off the pace.
Yeah.
It's still never a good thing. So horse didn't break well. You're 1,000,000 to 1 and you miss the break and you're dead last. I'm sure Gary Contessa is thinking right now, I got this race. I got it. I got it in the back. So he's down the inside. Junior Alvarado's okay, I got to save ground at this point and hope the pace is forward, which obviously will help. I do like the fact that, 2-year-old in the second service career closing down on the inside, but you can't make a living out of that, so you got to angle out, right? But he closed. He's still a little green too.
Yes, absolutely.
He doesn't know what he's doing at all. And now he's just bobbing and weaving. Now he's going to go rail.
Look at all the kicks
six
he's got
path.
over him.
Yeah, you keep these horses wide and just make that run.
He's still on the left lead too. Still on the left lead.
Well, any one of 7 can win at this point.
Still on the left lead. He wins on the left lead.
Yeah, it's
There. No. It's like
I mean, it's great for Gary Contessa. I mean, to win a Grade 1, to win the hopeful, the most storied races at Saratoga, the most storied 2-year-old race at Saratoga, and to do it with a horse pays $111 or something. I mean, it's awesome. It is.
totally awesome.
In terms of moving forward we'll see. I mean, the pace was, the good news is he wins the hopeful at 54 to 1. He didn't break well and he's green. So if he breaks better and is more professional.
Hey, I say give the horse some credit. They obviously think that he's legitimate to have even put him in the hopeful in the
Off
first
a maiden
place.
win at Delaware.
Exactly.
Well, Gary's super smart. I always look for Saratoga. I always look for about 4 to 6 first-time stars at Saratoga for Gary Contessa. So people always say, "Oh, he can't win with you." Yes, he can. He points towards Saratoga, and
check out the blowout 3 furlong drill just to get the air in his lungs on the 31st. And again, that race, the hopeful being on September 4th, 34-4.
12 dimes this horse went for.
I know. It's amazing, right?
We could afford that.
We could. And again, another
Gary will give you 12,000 for him right now. 15.
No, I think he's got more offers than that.
15,000.
Keeneland September from last year. So you just never know. So the horses who are going through Keeneland September now, you don't know. I mean, we have horses who are going for millions. You don't know. It could, what horse could become a Grade 1 winner, right? Now, let's also talk about some of the other horses who were in that race because he's not the only one, right? So in the hopeful, the runner-up was Timberlake, trained by Brad Cox. He was your favorite. He was coming off a 9 1/4 length score at Ellis Park and over next out winners.
I'm going to get the chart for that.
In West Saratoga and Can Group. And then you also in that race had the well-regarded Gold Sweep. He had won the Tremont earlier in the season by 9 legs, and then he ran second after a really bad start in the Grade 3 Sanford. But yeah, he finished in the hopeful 6th, beaten 5.5. But I will say regarding Gold Sweep, because it's still a horse you may want to keep on the radar, Granny, there is Sovereign Champion Ginger Brew, who I know cost you some money.
Oh, that was it. That was Monmouth. Distaff. That was vicious.
Sorry. But you got your chart up?
Yeah, beat me by a nose. Did I lose by? I can't. That was a great race too at Monmouth in the Distaff. I was right down there by the rail.
Okay. This isn't a therapy.
I'm looking at. I just want to know so Timberlake was the only horse that was relatively close up that lasted.
Yeah.
Because Nutella Fella won the race from last. 3rd place finisher Pirate was 8th early. 4th place finisher BU was 6th early. And Timberlake was only about a half length off the leaders early on. So it was a pretty good performance from Timberlake considering the race kind of collapsed and he was part of the speed and was able to finish second. So good performance from him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. And not to ignore some other big performances we saw that were not in stakes competition, graded or otherwise. Talking about a couple debuts that really, well, a debut and then a second outing for another horse that really caught the eye. Actually, we have 3 horses to talk about here. Still talking about horses we may see in the FanDuel Juvenile. Locked. Let's talk about him. He actually was making his second start in this race we're going to show. The debut was 6 furlongs at Saratoga. He ended up running third, beating 3.5 lengths. Comes back to the mile. Now, the mile there at Saratoga, you start in that chute. So it's not, how would you describe
it's like a turn plus.
Yeah. So to
me,
right. So you'll watch.
It's more like 1 turn than 2, for sure.
So you'll watch the race and you'll get an idea of what we're talking about. So it's going to be this one here, and you'll see where they start, and then you'll follow along.
Because before, Saratoga was the only big track in New York that had a 2-turn mile. Belmont Aqueduct's 1-turn mile, and this is now whatever you want to call this, but they are making a turn. It looks like from the replay, it's just straight
into the first.
Straight into the turn. So I mean, this is basic. I consider this.
I'm sorry, my little graphic.
It's closer to 1 turn for sure than 2. But I mean, this horse has speed. He's engaged a 32-1 shot, and
he's 3 to 5 for a reason.
Yeah, he has the. I mean, the thoroughbreds. It's Fletcher.
It's
Gun Runner. He
went for 425,000.
All the criteria to be something
big.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing he was 12-1 in his debut.
I mean, that's just the nature of Saratoga, though, isn't it?
I know, but still.
I know. Well, yeah.
Long shot in his debut, pretty much.
He must have been.
Missing a 1 to 5 in the race. It must have been. He was probably a 12-1 fourth choice. Look at this.
Yeah, he does it so easily.
Yeah, I love his
action is beautiful.
Action, yeah.
His action.
He's like a machine.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Machine-like. He has that big stride.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Gun Runner. I got to hang out with Gun Runner at 3 Knees.
This is Jose Ortiz, I think.
BU. That was a Rapoli horse. It was another country runner. That was before was favored in the BU.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what's her to say? I mean, it's really good.
Oh, that's who it was. That was the horse, the big horse that like everybody was waiting to. It was on. Yeah. BU was the horse. Remember, it was the one girl. I didn't think I.
BU was in the.
BU
was 4th in the race in the hopefully to show.
Okay, well there you go. So common opponent
as the 5-2 second choice.
So there we have the common opponents. We're seeing how these 2-year-olds are faring against each other, but still all keeping in mind that a 2-year-old can change between now and November. So, I mean, what we might, what you're expecting to see, you can't always just say, oh, okay, well, this horse put in this type of performance, and so he's going to just keep on doing this type of thing. He already beat this horse, so he's going to beat this horse again. They change a lot as, these 2-year-olds. So let's go ahead now and talk about another Pletcher trainee. This one owned and bred by Rapoli Stable. Bred by Rapoli Stable. Talking about fierceness. And I actually had Danielle Bricker, who is part of the team there, Team Rapoli, and she was on the show, and she told me about this horse during our broadcast. So there you go. There's another person who was on, and then, although I mean, I guess
there's no secret here with this horse.
No, I guess there should be no surprise that Rapoli's going to win.
It is cool. It is cool that he's a breeder too.
Yes, Nona Mia, and we have a tie into that in a minute.
And by City of Light, who was a spectacular racehorse for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, won
the dirt mile.
Yes.
At Churchill in 2018, and then won Pegasus World Cup, stretched out, and it could be obviously a super.
And it's on a quality road.
And he's at Lanes End,
yes.
Right? City of
With
Light.
his daddy.
Yeah.
Who has the amazing forelock. So look at fierceness go. Even money.
Yeah, you know the silks.
You know the silks.
And in the track listed as
Look
muddy.
at him just fly over this track. I mean, a lot of horses are kind of a little, I unsure of the footing sometimes. So as best I can put it, when the track is off like this, but he's just flying over this.
It looks like, yeah, and it's listed as, I guess, it
Especially-
almost looks like a sloppy track to me.
It does.
That's a lot of water there listed as muddy.
Skip
Whatever.
it over it.
That's why I always have to go back and look. I have to determine for myself what I think the track really is. But yeah, this is out of a Stay Thirsty mare that you mentioned, and Stay Thirsty won the Travers, which at Saratoga for Rapoli.
Yeah. Really cool, right?
Very good race.
Yeah. Mom is a half to Outwork. And then the grandmother's a half to Cairo Prince. And you have to check this out, okay? So
Sheeran trained Cairo Prince.
yes.
Outwork was a Fletcher Rapoli horse.
Yes.
They were both really good, and they were both very precocious,
Yes.
but they were at their best in the beginning of their
Right.
careers.
Now, remember, the mom here is Nona Bella. I'm sorry. The mom of fierceness is Nona Bella. But I just want to pull something up and have it ready for you before I share the screen, okay? So Nona Bella is the mom. And this page is going to this page, I guess, doesn't need the update when I show it because I'll just explain it. It's just the way it's on the screen here. But since Nona Bella is the mom, the grandmother is Nona Mia. You got that so far?
Mhm.
Nona Mia. So if you're following along with what's happening at Keeneland for the 2023 yearling sale, the current sales topper at $3 million, $3 million is actually a half brother to Fierceness's mom. So I'll show the pedigree.
Okay.
So you can sort of visualize
A
it
half
better.
brother to. Okay, I got that.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
So let's share the screen here.
half brother to his mother.
Oh, it's too small. I got to make it bigger for you all. Let's make it bigger, shall we? So, okay. This colt by Into Mischief. And then Nona Mia is Nona Bella's mother.
Right.
Okay. Because remember, I said Nona Mia is Outwork's
Outwork.
half sister. All right. So Nona Mia is the grandmother of Fierceness. She is the dam of this yearling who just sold for $3 million. It's pretty cool, right?
It's very cool. Yeah.
I love how this stuff all ties in.
together.
Yeah, right. So now Nona Bella is probably gonna be added to this page, even though she didn't pick up the black type like Outwork or
Right.
Nona's boy, but because she has now produced. Well, actually, no, she will eventually. I'm already thinking this horse has won a graded stakes race. It was his debut,
Right, it was
but
the
he
maiden
will.
race.
He's set up for it. He's set up for
Yes.
it. That's why she's not been added yet, but she will be eventually. You'll see. There's a reason this horse just went for $3 million. And I mean, yes, it's impressive that he's already a half to Outwork, but the fact that this family is still producing and produces a horse who can win first out like that.
Yeah, and if this horse wasn't a homebred for Mike, who knows what this horse would have went for.
Yeah. Let me see who bought. Let's go back to the summaries if I can share that screen. So stop that screen and let me hit present and hit share screen and we'll go. And it's really cool. Keeneland does a great job where you can check all the summaries out of who is buying what. And I got to make that bigger for you too. So let's go ahead and I don't know if I can make this screen bigger, this one. I can't. But in any case, Lane's End was the consigner. You see Sonson, Woodford, West Point, etc., all as part of this ownership, pulling their resources together to pick him up for $3 million. So pretty cool there, right?
That's cool.
Okay. So speaking of royally bred horses, or let's see, I'm going to pick up here. Let's talk about another 2-year-old that we saw debut. And that we already talked about More Than Ready, and I talked about More Than Ready's record as a sire in the Breeders' Cup. His son, The Process, also trained by Cherie DeVoe, who we talked about Depiction earlier as a contender for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. The Process, one race after he won at Ellis Park. This was going 6 furlongs. He's bred to go longer. He actually went out there and he didn't get the lead straight away, but I mean, it's close enough here where, he was right there on the front the whole time.
Yeah, no, he battled.
And so he is by More Than Ready. Then he's out of a Blue Assant. And you'll remember a Blue Assant she had success in her own right, but also a half sister to the great Hall of Famer Zenyatta. So here's the process, who actually is a half brother to that horse who won the Rebel this year, Confidence Game.
Oh.
Yeah, because Blue Assant's already proven to be
Keith DeSarmo.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Open this one up.
Oh, they're at the post.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's so loud.
I remember I bet Red Route 1, who was 15 lengths back earlier in second.
So the process, you're going to see, he was 8-5.
Okay, so he's
the 9 horse.
Yeah, so he's the outside. And I mean, it's always a good one when you show speed, you're professional, and then you battle, and that's what this horse does in the debut. The Ellis shippers, I know this is totally different because it's different service distances, but there are shipping places in winning. I know that just a kind of general statement. Like at Kentucky Downs, I know it's races, they're all grass and a lot of them are long, but those horses really versus Ellis are big time. So these maiden races are not easy. And he puts away.
He's a big horse.
He puts away the 7. The 7's game too. I'll give Burgundy Royal some credit. The horse is fighting back down on the inside. Oh, there's a lot going on there. So that's one to look at. It definitely helped a little bit. I mean, he would have won the race anyways. But there was 3 horses that was, they were bouncing off each other at about the 16th pole. But yeah, I mean, we know the horse is good. We have no idea how good, just based on all the information we have is that one race. But you would think with that pedigree and with Cherie in charge, and she brings horses along slowly, like a lot of really good trainers do, that this horse will do better as he progresses and as he gets more ground. I mean, the Bernardini on the bottom. I mean, this horse is going to want 2 turns.
Bernardini.
He's going to want 2 turns.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss Bernardini. He's obviously a solid sire, broodmare sire also. This one bred by, again, Jane Lyon at Summerwin Farm. So just another horse to watch. Now, what is next, everybody? Well, let's talk about it. The next stuff that we've got coming up, Churchill Downs, right?
Right.
We have some Dirt Dozen opportunities. These 2 races are not win and your ins, but again, they're part of the Dirt Dozen program where through first through third gets gets bonus money toward entry fees for the Breeders' Cup. Talking about the Iroquois and the Pocahontas, they're both grade 3s. They're both run at a mile. They're at Churchill on 9/16. And so I'm going to have to whip this out for you to look because the PPs have come out. You can just look.
Well, I think Hot Beach. Yeah, is the Omaha Beach filly
who won the debutante at Ellis Park. Yes.
Right, and that was a race in which our guy Richard likes. You almost had me, but you almost had me was heavily favored and stumbled badly out of the gate.
Okay.
So she'll probably be favored, I would think, because every troubled trip player is gonna look at that start in the Ellis Park Juvenile and go, oh, she would have broken. So to me, she could clearly win, and she's, by the way, she's also back at Churchill, where she won the Kentucky Juvenile by 8 3/4.
Oh yeah.
So, you almost had me. So I think the fact that we're back at Churchill and the fact that she was odds on and stumbled out the gate, was only beaten 2 lengths by Hot Beach, that she'll be the favorite in the Pocahontas.
Empire Island's interesting for Norm Cassie. She won her debut. She was actually, I feel like she was entered to run at Saratoga and then she scratched or something. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling, I have this vague recollection of liking her. He's got to get his earpiece back. Actually, you know what? You don't need it anymore. No. You don't need it anymore because the only reason we needed this was
all better now.
we needed to listen.
I just ripped it out of my ear.
We needed to listen to replays, and we couldn't hear the replays without this. So Empire Island, daughter of Classic Empire out of Giants Causeway. She again coming in off a debut score at Saratoga.
I've told Norm this before, and this isn't. I think Norm's great. Yes. This isn't a shot at Norm, but he's so good first out. Like most barns, their numbers are so much better second out than first out for obvious reasons. And the horses are better second out with more experience. So you always hear people say, oh, they're better second out than first out. Well, of course they are. Horses are better second out in general. I mean, but Norm is so good first out. I'm always scared to play him second out because his horses are so ready at first asking. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't maybe have the upside that some others do. That's just, I could be totally wrong about that, but he's just so good first out.
That's fine. I got Page Noir for Rudolph Brisset coming off a gate to wire score by 8 1/4 lengths at Ellis Park over Good Going. That was at a mile. She had debuted sprinting in the debut, fourth being 11 and a half lengths. Ripperton, Constitution filly. She was second in the debutante at Ellis Park to Hot Beach. You have Reigning Sugar. She's a debut winner for Riley Mott, Bill Mott's son.
Wayne's got a horse.
Cross entered, but she had won an off to her 5.5 furlong maiden special weight at Ellis pretty easily by 2 3/4 lengths. You got Regal Rumor, daughter Cantheros, out of a put it back mare for the cat man, Wayne Catalano. Well, I'm not going to question Wayne if he thinks that this horse can. I mean, it's a 1-turn mile. If he thinks that she can stretch it on out, why not, right? I mean, I love Wayne.
Oh, we both do, yeah.
I love him. Breeders' Cup winning trainer, Wayne Catalano.
Yeah.
Believe Stephanie's Kitten's one of those.
Yeah, and the Juvenile Fillies. I just can't think of her.
It'll come to you.
I just can't think right now.
So we got Vivi's Dream, daughter Matoli.
This is when McPeak starts to warm up.
Yeah, and she was only beaten a half length.
Brightwork.
By Brightwork, who we just went over, being as undefeated. And this is going to be her first start since that debutante at Ellis Park back in July. And she won her debut, so you know she can run well at first asking. And she scored that debut by 6 1/4 lengths.
She Be Wild, I think maybe. That was the Wayne horse.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And this filly definitely can. I mean, Mitoli obviously speed, Breeders' Cup champ. But out of a Tappet mare. So
nice mix.
You also had me. That was the one you were discussing for Brad Cox.
See, the Churchill one was.
And if you have your PPs, you can go along with us. I'm sorry. I know it's just the two of us looking at this. You don't really have any reference.
For the first time, too. They just came out.
Yeah, we're just like Corb, Quality Road filly out of an Unbridled Song mare, won her debut at Ellis Park, going 7 furlongs. And I mean, she was sitting off a little bit of it, and it wasn't an exceptionally fast pace. That half was 46, and she ended up, taking over and scoring by a length and 3/4 there.
Quality Road. And
then we ended, and you already talked about Hot Beach. So that is the field for the Grade 3 Pocahontas. And then as far as the Iroquois goes, let's see who we've got in here. Liberal Arts, an Arrogate colt out of a Treble Rule mare. He's coming in off a win at Ellis.
Where Risket's going to be favored, I think.
Yeah, we have no morning line yet.
And there's Edified. If you go down.
Well, let's.
Oh, you want to go one at a time?
West Saratoga, Larry Dimmerett, Exaggerator Colts, and he is coming. Oh, sorry, he is coming off a win, and my screen just went blue. Not the dreaded blue screen, but highlighted blue. Yeah. But yeah, it took him a while to get the main, done, but he finally got a mile distance, and he did. He actually ended up wiring and beat out a next out winner in Generous Tipper. Should we see what Generous Tipper won next? Next race, Generous Tipper won a main special weight at Ellis, put up an 86 buyer figure doing it. It's not bad there.
No, that's really good.
Yeah, we're looking for angles, peeps. Okay, Union Roll. Oops, I did it again. And I did not mean to make a Britney Spears reference just now. Okay.
I don't get it.
Oops, I did it again.
Oh, okay. I do know that song.
Oh, okay. I keep doing this. Okay, this is the problem with me holding it like this. So Union Roll, son of Union Rags, out of an AP Indy mare.
Yeah,
love that.
Spread to go all day.
Todd Pletcher for Calumet Farm, storied Calumet Farm. Debuted 6 furlongs and won by 5 1/4 lengths. What's he going to do?
Day,
Oh, and you want to talk about no pace to run at? They went the half there in 47. I mean, not that he was hanging off too far. I mean, he was about 2 lengths back.
He was almost 8-1 in that race.
Wow. What's he going to do now getting a stretch? That's interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting horse.
Very interesting.
On the surface.
Edified, as you discussed, won the debut. Saratoga Special, 5th, beaten 14 lengths.
Running rhyme schemes, right?
Yeah, rhyme schemes. That would have been a horse, obviously, to watch, but, off the trail. Market Street, the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. He actually won the debut.
Tried grass last.
6th in the Sanford, 2nd, beating the 9.5 lengths by rhyme schemes.
Brand race.
Yeah, exactly. Gala brand. And the coach tried him in the with anticipation on the grass, and now we're going to get back on the dirt here. So in a street sense out of Quality Way.
John Lucas also has the horse below. My Racehorse, Sees the Gray.
Sees the Gray. That was a big performance he put in on July 29th. I remember watching that one. And there was a next out winner from there in Global Perspective. Then he was third in the Skidmore over the Muddy Going at 5.5 furlongs. I mean, he's by Arrogate and he's have a Smart Strike mare. So this is another one getting to stretch out, I think, is a horse to watch. Gettysburg Address
By Constitution.
Out of JoJo. I remember JoJo Warrior by Pioneer of the Nile. Yes. And this is a Brad Cox trainee, won the debut at Ellis Park. Yeah. JoJo Warrior won the Torrey Pines, the summertime Oaks.
Very fast.
Yes. I remember her.
That's back when they had synthetic at Del Mar.
Yeah. I remember her. Just looking at, sorry, everybody. It was sort of like we're a little inside baseball looking at stuff over here. So then Risk It, as you discussed, for Steve Asmussen, 4.5 length winner on debut at Saratoga. A Son of Gun Runner.
Yeah, he'll be favored, I think.
Out of Wedding Jitters by Broken Bow. Went for $500,000 to Winchell. And then.
It's interesting. Mike Campbell, Colonial shipper.
Big Patriot Spirit by another Constitution. Out of Mystical Plan by Game Plan. Won by 6 lengths on debut there at Colonial.
Game Plan is all speed bottom. I worry about 2 turns there.
So just on the surface
again.
Just on the
Although
surface,
this is 1 turn though. Oh, they changed the distances of
it's a 1 turn mile here.
These races I think they were 1.16 miles until this year.
I think it was actually. I think they changed it last.
They changed it last year.
I think so. I'd have to double check that.
Whatever. It was 1.16 miles. Now it's a mile. Maybe it was last year, but it was always 1.16 miles.
I would have to double check that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And
it's a mile now.
While I'm talking about double checking, I'm going to double check and see if they've drawn for Woodbine. But we're not going to go over it like we just did with this because, they don't have Woodbines out yet. But again, those 2 races, the Iroquois and the Pocahontas, not official winning your ends, but they're part of the Dirt Dozen. So you can look at it from that perspective. And if you want to learn more about that, again, you can go to the Breeders' Cup website and it outlines what the Dirt Dozen is and what it provides. Now, as far as the actual official win in your ends, there's like something floating there.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a buzzball. I'm going to blame you for that. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to
sing things.
I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here so you can see what we have on deck here for also being run on September 16th, but at Woodbine. So we have the Summer Stakes. That is a win and you're in for the Juvenile Turf. And then we have the Rico Woodbine Mile. Obviously, that's a win and you're in for the FanDuel Mile. And the Natoma Stakes. That is a win and you're in for the Juvenile Fillies Turf. So, you know what? No, you can see it. For a second, I didn't think I even had it up. I was like, I've been talking about it. You don't see it. So these are the next races that are actual win and you're in qualifiers. So that ticket is punched if your horse crosses the wire first. I hope this was informative. We talked a lot. It was
for me.
We talked a lot. We kind of meandered through the Iroquois and the Pocahontas. But, what are you going to do? We're just seeing it for the first time. A lot of action still yet to come. We've got Keeneland coming up. We're going to have the Breeders' Futurity. We're going to have the Alcibiades. Lots of action there. So I'm looking and again, just talking.
Frisette, Front Runner.
Well, let's see. The official win in your ends. I'm just looking. I'm not still sharing the screen. Oh, I am. Okay, good. So these are the official win in your ends that are coming up. The Miss Grio's a win in your end for the Juvenile Fillies Turf. The Pilgrim, that is one of the options for Depiction. It's either going to be the Pilgrim or the Bourbon. It's the Pilgrim there at Aqueduct on October 1st. And if we scroll on down, you'll see the Jessamine. Yeah. That's for the Juvenile Fillies Turf at Keeneland. The Darley Alcibiades for the Juvenile Fillies. The Frisette, as you mentioned, for the Juvenile Fillies at Aqueduct. You've got the Champagne there at Aqueduct for the boys and the Juvenile. Claiborne,
that's where they're conducting the Belmont meeting.
Claiborne Breeders' Fraternity. FanDuel. We just were at Claiborne not too long ago. That was awesome.
My first time.
Yeah. The American Pharaoh Stakes, also FanDuel Juvenile at Santa Anita. The Chandelier.
All right, it's not the Front Runner anymore. It's the American Pharaoh. I lose track.
I know.
Lose track every 3 years. They change it. Hopefully, they'll keep American Pharaoh for a while.
They better. He's a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
The Chandelier Stakes at Anita for the girls. I'm guessing we'd see Tamara there, right?
Yeah. Yes, I would say so.
The Futurity on October 8th. The Juvenile Turf Sprint at Aqueduct. Right. Yeah. the Bourbon Stakes. That's the other option for Depiction. A win and urine for the Juvenile Turf at Keeneland. And then there's no more 2-year-old win urines after that. The last win urine period, the last two are on October 21st. You've got the Kipco Champion Stakes for the Longines Turf, and then you have the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes for the FanDuel Mile.
Dicey there.
It does, but if you're bringing a horse in after that, I mean, it's a trainer who knows.
California from Europe and run 2 weeks later.
Yeah. So everybody, he's saying the win. No, hold on a second. I am losing my mind. I think Mr. McIntyre is saying that the Iroquois is a win and you're in, but it's a dirt dozen race as far as I am aware. So I'll double check though. You keep talking. You keep your faces on screen, Matt. So you don't see yourself, but keep talking.
Okay. Teacup puppies.
No, don't talk about teacup puppies. No, just talk about something important, like about the Breeders' Cup. Somebody did ask earlier, what was your first Breeders' Cup memory?
First Breeders' Cup memory. Well, I mean, the classic, the first year at Hollywood Park. Wild Again. Yeah. Pat Day.
Gate Dancer with
Vince
the hood.
Tiffany. Slow Gold.
Do you remember Gate Dancer with his earmuff hood?
I do.
It was pretty awesome, right?
But yeah, I mean, Wild Again was a great sire.
No.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. A great sire.
Yes, absolutely.
They were fast. They could stretch out. They handled any surface. Really versatile sire.
No, the Iroquois is not a win and you're in. Again, it's part of the Dirt Dozen. I'll show you right here, everybody. I'll pull up the Dirt Dozen. And then we do need, we'll let you go because we've kept you for an hour 40, everybody. And if you're still watching us after all this time, I appreciate it. It makes me feel good that you find us this entertaining. So these are where all the races that are part of the Dirt Dozen. Okay. And again, the Dirt Dozen isn't winning you're in. It's basically you're earning money you get bonus money toward your entry. Like it says right here, each Dirt Dozen race is an opportunity to cash in featuring $525,000 in bonus money over 12 premier North American dirt races. Bonus earnings can be applied toward entry fees for one of 6 Grade 1 Breeders' Cup World Championship dirt races. And you can click there to learn more, but we're not going to do that because I trust everybody knows how to navigate a website. So you see that the Spinaway was one of those races. The Del Mar Futurity was one of those races. Here, September 16th.
There's your Iroquois, right.
The Iroquois and the Pocahontas. So those are part of it. And, going on, these are the older divisions. Santa Anita Sprint Championship.
I think they want people they want connections to have more incentive to run in the races that are a little bit bigger as the final preps.
Yes.
In the 2-year-old division, which makes sense.
Yes. So that is the layout here that we're bringing to you for this Future Stars forecast on a 2-year-old Tuesday, although we've got the yearling sale going on at Keeneland.
I feel educated. I do.
I hope you do. I'm going to actually be doing my show, hopefully, should all go smoothly, from Keeneland on next Tuesday. But I felt like this was a really good spot in the schedule to do one of these sort of recaps, what you may have missed, who we may want to watch, etc. And, it's hard to keep an eye on everything. So if we missed anyone, I hope nobody's offended. There are so many good horses out there. You never know when another one's going to spring back up. But I would not, I enjoy doing this with somebody like you for so many reasons, not the least of which is that I respect you immensely, your opinion. I don't just say this as your wife. I say this as your colleague. I think you're incredible.
Well, I don't have much of an opinion. I just call it the way I saw it. We're just watching replays and we're just chatting. So
look at all the love. This is good. Patty, thanks so much, Ren and Matt. Love the stream and all your hard work. That hour for you zipped by. Thank you,
Patty.
Thanks, Matt and Ren. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Dustin. And she also says, edumacated. I feel smarter now. Thank you. I haven't even really had anything proper, like in terms of food to eat to get the brain really kicking yet.
Yeah,
I'm about to make dinner. I'm gonna go make dinner, everybody.
I don't know how you do an hour 40 minutes without any water. You're like a camel. I don't know how you do that.
We are happily married.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I know. I brought a water down and I never opened it.
I'm always I drink about 15 waters a day. I do.
I know. So anyway, everybody, I hope you did enjoy. And Matt, thank you for your time. And if you do know any 2-year-olds, of course, you can always tweet at me or him. We're always looking for an edge when it comes to Breeders' Cup. It's wouldn't you say it is one of the best events in terms of handicapping, that parimutuel aspect of it.
The best.
You have so many horses who are coming in with legitimate credentials at Breeders' Cup. So you get prices you would not otherwise ever be able to get on them. So it is a great time to play. And the time is now to start really tracking these horses.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just doing the work is so much fun.
Yeah. So again, thank you, everybody. I'll check you back here next Tuesday for your Future Stars forecast.